Hôm nay mình có cuộc phỏng vấn với hai ứng cử viên dân biểu liên bang Hoa Kỳ khu vực San Jose. Một người thứ nhất là Peter Hernandez, khu vực District 18 and Tendon for Congress, District 17. This is very important for the San Jose. We need a conservative Republican against the liberal. They hold the office right now. Any thought, anything you want to say with my audience and community, Vietnamese community, that can support you and what you need and what the program future when you elected and you will do for our community in San Jose and district that you representative with include with Vietnamese community here and the parks here.
Yeah, I'm Peter Hernandez here. I'm really passionate about representation. I'm a local guy. I'm born in San Benito County, raised in Hollister, California, which is in San Benito. I'm a sitting county supervisor. So I went through the last 4 years as a county supervisor, right? The last two being the shutdowns. That was very eye-opening, and I already sensed this starting to happen. I also sat on the Hollister School District Board where I saw they changed the relationship between the parent and the student from pupil, which was the Department of Education term when it comes down to what is a parent responsibility in the child's life, to just students. So they took the parent out of the equation. So long and short, as a county supervisor through the shutdowns, I fought the mandates, I fought the lockdowns. My goal was to make sure that the public was part of the process. I actually brought forward a resolution called an informed consent resolution. It wasn't arguing against not doing anything about the virus. It was actually making sure that the public was part of the process. So as a county supervisor, I fought for representation. I was born and raised in this country in an immigrant home. My mom worked the fields 30 years in Central Coast, California. So I know what it's like to not have representation. You have a lot of leftist policies that are destroying our country. I'm a proud conservative, a Christian man, and I really do believe that the reality is our job is to make sure that we're being granted consent by the governed, right? So the governed are you the people. So your voice matters in this process, and I want to make sure that I do that I respect true representation, that we're all about making sure that whatever the issues are, whether it's crime, whether it's parents' rights, or even the economy, those things are back to the place where the public actually is driving the conversation. So as a small business owner, I know that the community, the public, buys from me because I'm providing for them something of quality, of good and service. I think our policy should be just like that. Our policy should be reflecting what it means to make sure that it's the public driving that conversation. So at the end of the day, I'm against anything that shuts down our economy, that increases inflation, that takes parents' rights away, that makes criminality an okay thing, right? Where you have laws that decriminalize. Now you're saying that you can steal less than $950 and you get away with it. Now you have minority communities, small business owners that are having smash and grabs, people breaking into their business, taking their things, and there's no punishment, there's no penalty. That's not the way that our country was founded. We don't encourage evil, we discourage it, and we make sure that we hold them accountable. And we also encourage what's right and what's good, right? That's what I'm about. That's what I fought for in the last 4 years, and that's what I'm going to take to Washington, D.C. and fight for my community.
Are you willing to investigate Hunter Biden and Biden's the foreign business to reinvestigate? FBI now, they disregard about that.
100%. Yeah, we need to. So there's a term called the rule of law. The rule of law means equality under the law. That means everybody should be treated equal. No one should get away with breaking the law. And what Hunter Biden has done has been devastating, because it's only empowered agencies to basically go after who they want to go after, and then you end up having people get away with those kind of things like Hunter Biden. That's wrong. We need to restore respect for the rule of law. That's why you have anarchy societies where there is no respect for the rule of law. I would flip that around, and I would make sure everybody's held accountable for committing crimes like Hunter Biden did and Joe Biden.
Are you willing to support the freedom fighter as a freedom of the press in Vietnam? They now in jail by the government, the ruler, you will support those people?
100%. Yeah, the freedom of speech, the First Amendment, is a guaranteed right in our Constitution. We can't say that we believe in it if we allow it, if we're endorsing it in other nations where they're suppressing free speech. Free speech is important for good dialogue. If you think about what happens with good open dialogue, it's actually telling the truth and not having to worry about being punished for telling the truth. And I know that that's happening in other countries. We need to be the drivers of free speech, right? As a Christian man, right, we're supposed to be the city on a hill. Ronald Reagan said it best. And if we're going to be a city on a hill, that means we're bringing light to every other nation in this country. We're encouraging free speech, and that means endorsing those folks that are actually telling the truth about what's going on in other nations.
What's about the abortion?
I'm a pro-life individual. You can't say that you care about life by destroying it in the womb. And for man to try to define life at a 2 months, 3 months, or 9 months is wrong. At the end of the day, it's life. It always is a life from conception. After that, it needs to be protected. There's a reason why the left doesn't want a heartbeat bill, right? Because they don't want that conviction to come to the woman to say, oh, wow, that's a life inside of me. And now all of a sudden they have to think twice about destroying that life. That's why truth matters. That's why preserving life matters. And that's why also the Second Amendment matters. Second Amendment is about preserving life. It's self-defense, right? The people that are doing nothing wrong should have the right to defend themselves. The criminals shouldn't get away with taking someone's life. And they're the ones that are picking up the guns, not the law-abiding citizen picking up the gun to do wrong. The law-abiding citizen is picking up the gun to defend themselves and to defend others.
Are you willing to support with voter IDs? The voter must have the ID to vote.
100%. Yeah, voter ID, extremely important. At the end of the day, we require voter ID, or we require ID, when you fly a plane. We require ID for many things, right? It's a transparency element. It tells you who you are. There's no reason why we should empower people to vote without knowing who they are and making sure that that ballot is free and clear, that it's actually an honest vote, that it's a true vote, right? And that's the problem with our elections today, is we don't have transparency elements. We've made this system so confusing and convoluted. I think it's only damaged the trust, right? If you think about what the goal is from the Democrat left is, hey, we want to encourage trust. So you encourage trust by making a very complicated scenario with mail-in ballots and all these opportunities for people to rob an election. And then with voter ID, now you don't even know if that's the person. All those things are encouraging an opportunity for bad things to happen. We need to get back to just free and clear paper ballots, voter ID. That's what's going to start to clean up.
What about our security, Southern California, Southern Mexican and U.S. the border security? We need to build the wall, or you think they should live that this way, like this administration?
I think Mayra Flores is right on with what she said, because that's exactly the conviction that I have, is the border has officially become a tool for bad people, for criminals, for cartels, to traffic drugs, to traffic human beings. Sex slavery is now increasing. We're officially, this administration is encouraging slavery, modern day slavery at the border, and allowing criminals to do bad things. If they really cared about the illegal immigrant, they wouldn't allow them to die inside of a trailer. 46 individuals died because they were trying to transport them illegally, and then all these ladies being raped coming across the border, all these drugs, fentanyl, literally destroying lives in our nation. Now that's one of the highest causes of death amongst the youth, is fentanyl overdoses, because it's very easy that it takes a small amount to die from that. So the bottom line is you have to shut down the border. You have to create a process of immigration that is easy to detect who wants to be a part of this nation because they love it and who is looking to harm it. We need to be able to separate those two.
Are you willing to support Mr. Trump to come back 2024?
100%. President Trump, no matter if you don't like the way that he comes off, he had excellent policies. The Latino community knows that. They believe in that. We support that. And I know that the Vietnamese community agrees.
Thank you very much, Peter. You give us opportunity, your program, and what you do in the future to support our country 100%. And to have our country's security. And my channel really appreciate what you do now and you will do in the future for our
100%.
country.
Yeah, and one last thing. there's a scripture that says a house divided cannot stand. We got to unite as a free people. We have to unite. I love Ritesh. He's obviously of a different background, but he has the same heart. I think that's what it means to love a nation, is to come together and fight for a common cause that respects the people and gives power back. We the people to the people, the power that belongs to them, right? They're the ones that drive this nation. And I'm excited because I think we're seeing a new shift happening. And I know that what it's going to take is for us to unite as a free people and take back our country.
What you need the Vietnamese community in your district to represent, to support you? You have a website. What the connection? What need you have?
HernandezForCongress.com. So HernandezForCongress.com. You can sign up for my newsletter there. You can sign up. You can donate. You can sign up to volunteer. There's a lot of opportunities to be a part of this campaign. I'm very easy to get a hold of. You can get my phone number there. You can get my email address, my campaign manager, Kristen Hurley. Please reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, can you give your email and your phone number?
My email is peter@hernandezforcongress.com. peter@hernandezforcongress.com. My phone number is 831-297-8622. That's 831-297-8622.
Okay, let me ask our friend here.
Friend Ritesh.
Okay. What I asked Peter, you heard, and you can tell us about it. Yes.
So first, my introduction is last 20 years I'm living in the Bay Area, doing the community survey, helping the underprivileged people. But what I have seen that America, when I came here for the American dream, is no longer the same America. We have the leftists, they attack, especially the Vietnamese committee and Asian committee. So many people, they are attacked. They make the rules like Prop 16 kind of bills, which target the Asian Americans. They have the open borders, what Peter described. People can go in and out. And the same people, they are doing the crime and they are getting away with it because there is no ID, nothing. Also, I see about in last 10 years, about 18,000 companies, they left California. More than 500,000 people, they left California. There's a high regulations, high taxes and everything. People are moving away from the California. This will impact you, your children and everyone and your property prices. Also, with terms of education, we are in the top in the world, but our education system is not even in the top 10. We have to work together to increase the quality of the education system and make this all the liberals, teacher unions and everyone, those who support Democrat and at the same time play with the life of our children, we need to stop it. Also, the safety, security, immigration, also climate change. In fact, one thing I want to tell you, my stand is for you, for the common people. I'm not a politician. The reason why I entered this race and fighting with these people, because these people has gone far, far left right now. If we don't stop it, one day we have to all leave California.
What about President Trump? You support him to for 2024?
Yeah, what Peter said, President Trump has a great policy. Look, under him, our economy was booming. The foreign policies, no one can dare to touch Afghanistan. As soon as the Biden came, the Afghanistan was taken over it has fallen like a cards. Russian will never attack Ukraine if the President Trump is there. So I can only tell you, because of the President Trump, we were so powerful. Right now, we become the most weakest country in the world under the President Biden.
Okay, any thought you can say to our audience?
I just want to say to Vietnamese community, this time vote for me, vote for Peter. It's the time to change it to red. The Vietnamese community, they are always conservative, like we Indian, Spanish and everyone. Let's bring our voice back to the Washington.
Right.
Our voice is missing. And these progressive Democrats who believe on the ultra-socialist program, they want to make America as another Venezuela by bringing the race, bringing the division among ourselves. We all need to unite together. Everyone need to work together. We need to keep the people first and America first. And we need to win together.
You know, this is Santa Clara County. This is, a lot of people, liberals here, they vote for Joe Biden. If we fight, this is the good chance because the economy, inflation, and the Congress and the White House, they hold by Democrat. This is a good chance. Do you think this is a good chance we can change our leaders here?
It's very fair chance. This November, we are very confident that we can win the House and possibly Senate also. One thing I can say, now, all common people like us, Peter is common person, I'm common person, we are standing and fighting what is happening on the leftists. We are not politicians. We are here like you. When we started suffering, it's time to stand up and take the stand. And this is where actually I ask and request entire Vietnamese community, let's get together and vote for us.
So if you look at the primary, there was basically a very low turnout, right? And the thing that stood out the most is you obviously have 17% Republican registration in my district, right? So the whole of the district obviously is majority Democrat, even the brand new district. But the thing that really stood out is even though there was a low turnout, there was still an uptick in the Republican vote and a decrease in the Democrat vote, right? Whether that means it's the Democrat that officially voted Republican, or maybe the Democrat stayed home and didn't vote at all. Either way, there's a shift happening. But I think the biggest thing that needs to stand out is the conservative community, the Republican, the Christian community, they don't show up enough to vote. The only reason why we lose is because we don't show up. So if you look at the breakdown of my district, 346,000 registered voters, you had 89,000 people vote in this last primary, basically in June. That means you had roughly 20-something% of the population voting to put the person in the general election that they wanted, right? So the minority is making the decision over the majority because there's 750,000 people in this district. So the point is when you don't show up, that's when we lose. All it takes is just show up. So my recommendation to you, the public, is call 10 friends, commit to call 10 friends and say, I'm going to get 10 friends. Once the ballots drops, I'm going to be their accountability partner. I'm going to call them and say, did you vote? Who did you vote for? Let's talk about it. But we need to make sure you voted. So make sure that you talk to 10 friends and say, I'm going to make sure that 10 friends vote. If everybody did that, then all of a sudden you have thousands and thousands of people showing up. There's going to be roughly, I'm guessing, about 140,000, 160,000 people voting in the general election. Give or take 50% of the vote, basically. If that happens, then we need to all we have to do is basically increase our vote by 50,000 votes. We do that, we officially beat the opponent. We beat the leftists. So think about that, 50,000 people. Santa Clara County, what is it, like a couple million people? That's a lot of people. When you think about 50,000 people, that's not a lot. Just call your friends, get them to show up, get them to vote. We win. That's all it takes. And you're right, if you're worried about the elections being cheated, basically if there's cheating in the elections, it is a concern. So that's why we need to go way beyond the margin of cheating. We got to go way above the margin of cheating. All it takes is once we win, we clean all that up. Then you're not going to have to worry about the election. Then you're going to be able to trust that the election is fair. Then you're going to be more motivated to show up. But you can't wait for that to happen. You have to make that happen. That's the important message that I think.
Yes, your message is what I thought I heard. That you are not politician. You just fight for our right, protect our country. That's what you are going to do in the future.
That's right.
That's what.
Exactly.
That's what.
We have to keep the America first. We need to leave the safe place for our children. Then we'll be gone.
100%.
And today, the way the things are going far left, it will be very sad to see that Silicon Valley, where everyone has worked together and made the golden state, today they are ruining it.
Destroying it.
It's time we should all stand together. And once again, my name is Ritesh Tandon. I'm running for U.S. Congress, District 17, which includes San Jose, Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Cupertino, Fremont, and Newark. And my website is tandonforcongress.com. My email is ritesh@tandonforcongress.com. My phone number 408-623-2623. Anytime you can reach me and talk with me.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Okay, it's very lucky to have you here, both of you together. So the good place here. And for my personal, I really appreciate what you do in the past and you will do in the future to protect our country. And you have a good weekend. Okay.
Thank you so much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
All right. Let me take a picture here and I put on the YouTube. Okay, you are here.
We'll take one really quick first, right?
Ông bảo muốn chụp hai ông này muốn
Yeah, this picture should be a thumbnail.
Perfect.
1, 2, 3. One over here. Yeah.
Oh,
That's right.
you've done this before. I can tell.
Okay.
I'm taking a picture
1,
of you guys
2,
too.
3. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I wish you will be elected.
Please
and
send
we
me
have
your link. I will popularize it in the community.
Yeah. Okay.
dạ quy
I would like to get
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, and
Thank
you,
you.
when I send it to you, you can use because English. You can use this. You know, promote yourself.
Yeah, well, we have
Okay, English.
a media person. She'll definitally promote that.
Okay.
Peter, come.
Oh, over here.
Mrs. Helen.
Yeah.
like big box. Okay, me too.
Để bà biết rồi không?
Okay, bà nào?
Lá bà đây, bà xanh này mình biết này.
Biết bà.
Dạ để coi.
Ezra, come here.
Oh yeah, để mình chụp luôn. Để phải quay. I take this picture
You
soon.
know what you're talking about.
Okay, this pictures. 1, 2, 3, cheese.
So get the vote from Indian and from Mexican.
Okay, one
you
more.
can make the vote from Indian. So make a
1, 2, 3, cheese. Okay.
Uh-oh, wait, it's on video. Hold on. Oh, that it was on slow-mo.
wow, slow motion.
Okay, we got it.
1, 2, 3. There. Bigger.
Okay, come here. Let's go.
The youngest person in our community, the youngest person in the community.
I need to
1, 2, 3, cheese.
Ezra, turn around. Hold on. Wait a second. I got 3 cameras now. Whoops, okay, hold on. Back to normal.
Để đây đâu?